Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Welcome back. We're going to give you some inspiration today. We're going to the bathroom. Now, I really mean we're going to be in the bathroom today and looking at some of her amazing designs. And we've looked at other rooms before, and the whole process never really centered on the bathroom. And there's so much you can do when it comes to interior design of your bathroom. She is the woman behind Marcia Moore Design. It is Marcia, and she's back with us. How are you today?
I'm doing well.
So
Ready for the bathroom.
I'm ready. I'm ready. We got lots of pictures. Even before we get into them, when somebody comes to you and says, "Yeah, I need a lot to do here, but the bathroom is on my list as well." What's the first thing that you think of or you advise them before they dig into that? Or anything that stands out?
Well, we today are talking about powder rooms. So to me, the powder room is the perfect place to do something a little different, a little crazy, a little unique, because you don't spend a lot of time in there and your guests are in there. So it's a perfect place to show off your home and be really creative. But one of the first things I always ask is how do you use this bathroom? Who uses this bathroom? Are you shaving in here? Are you putting on makeup in here? Are you, is it just the powder room, or all those questions, so that I know how to start finding products that go well in that room.
What's your definition of a powder room? Let's just make sure that we're all on the same page.
Okay. Powder room is nothing more than a sink and a toilet. It does not have a shower or a tub in it. So it's a half bath. Is another term for it, and it's normally in the middle of the house or at the front of the house where your guests can use it. Occasionally, you'll have one maybe closer to your laundry room, but that is the definition of a powder room. You go in there just to powder your nose, just to freshen up a little bit, and it's not where you go to take a bath.
Got it. And I had a house before the last had a powder room. Yeah, there was just a sink, the toilet, a little bit of vanity, and that's it. So didn't even think of it in that way. Wow, I didn't even know I had a powder room. And by the way, it was first floor, tucked over to the side. It was near the back door, at least one of them, and which was perfect for having a party. Yeah, bathroom. Yeah, just go inside the door, and then have to worry about it. And especially if you have to clean that bathroom, there's very little.
Yeah.
Smaller. So let's take a look at some of the designs here, and we'll describe it if you're listening and not watching. We're looking at what here?
This first picture is the before picture. This is actually a brand new home. This couple built the home and didn't do a lot of accessory designing to it. It was just built. They put in the floor and the toilet and the sink and the light fixture and the mirror, and that was it. So I went through their entire house and made it look like a home. But this specifically was a really cool design. These people wanted their home to look more like a resort, like a tropical resort.
Ooh.
So let's go to the next picture. So we put tile on the wall. That's great big, long, skinny pieces of tile, and the paint. The tile is called paint because it looks like big swatches of paint.
Sure.
So we did that all around the room so that there would be protection for splatters of when you're at the sink or the toilet, and then added a nice piece of art and a fake tree because there's no lights in there, so a live one wouldn't last. But we added that into the room so that it was interesting. That is a mirror that's made out of bamboo. The edge is bamboo, typical, and the tree was bamboo. So recreating that.
Ooh, and they had a circular oval, call it oval mirror.
Correct.
You stayed in that theme, right?
Yeah. So I took that down and did a round one, much bigger round one, so that it also a big, huge mirror will open up a small room, make it look larger. So that's a frequent thing I do in powder rooms.
And just my own personal taste, if you will, the mirror that they had was just your standard oval, 1999 mirror from like Home Depot.
Uh-huh.
Just not exciting. I'm just gonna say.
Yeah.
So you definitely kicked it up. So oh, there it is, another picture of it. Yeah,
And there's
nice.
the light fixture is also little strands of bamboo
Mm,
in whatever resin or something. So we repeated something else that I do frequently is trying to repeat a theme. So
hmm
we're repeating the bamboo, which is very tropical in that room.
And that light, to me, when you said that they were trying to achieve a resort kind of feel, that's what we're talking about with that kind of light. It's very unique and
Hmm.
very distinctive. Yeah, love that. Next up,
Another before photo. This powder room is another whole house remodel we were working on. This was right inside the front door near the living room, between the living room and the kitchen. And everything else we had done, and we hadn't decided, we weren't even going to do the powder room because they thought it was fine. But as frequently happens, you make everything else look perfect, and then all of a sudden something you thought was fine is looking very outdated and ugly. So at the very end, they decided to do the powder room. So
yeah,
let's
and this
take
is
a,
call it a basic functional bathroom.
yeah,
It's there's
yeah.
nothing wrong with it. It's got a little bit of style going on there with the tile and maybe the color of the
Hmm.
wall, but
But
we go to oh boy.
look at that.
Wow. Nice. Yeah. And we
So
stuck with the color on the wall, or do we change it a little bit? Looks kind
we
of the same.
changed it. It's a much
Okay.
deeper color than was
Okay.
what was on there before. So this vanity looks like a piece of furniture. It's not. It's an actual vanity, but that's what it looks like. And we found a very unique piece of
Hmm.
marble to put on the top. I
Nice.
have what's called a vessel sink. That's a sink that sits on top of your countertop rather than being sunken into it.
Ah,
And then the if you there might be one more picture. Yeah, and the
there's a good
faucet's
view.
coming out of the wall rather than coming out of the countertop.
Mm. I love
So,
that, and that takes you into the next phase of really adding to your bathroom. And what's that called again? Not a basin? Did I hear it right?
a
Or
vessel
a
sink.
vessel? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only thing I would add there for my own personal is the automatic soap dispenser.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But beautiful. Wow. Wow. Big difference.
And
And
that just blended so well with the rest of the house that we were doing. We had a lot of
mm,
those same tones, the copper sink and the copper veining in there, a lot of black and different wood tones. So yeah, that was a perfect addition to the house.
and as I've learned from you previously, you want to keep some kind of thread going through the entire house in terms of
Correct.
consistency.
Correct.
Cool. So next up,
I don't have a before picture of this, but it was old pink tile from the 60s.
oh no.
No. So, so this was a tiny room. It's in the hallway. You see it if the door's open, you can see it when you walk in the front from the front entry and you look to the right, you could see it. So it had to look really, really nice. But it's very tiny. So one of the things we decided to do, we is use this kind of an oval shaped elongated vanity. It's not just a square, which always when you're coming in there, it would have stuck out further and looked like a barrier into the room. We did some iridescent black tile. Go to the next picture.
Sure.
Yeah,
Mm,
iridescent black tile on the wall behind that. The mirror is it's another round mirror, but it's lit up. The edges of it are lit up, so we didn't have to have another light source because that was such good lighting. And then we did some real Art Deco uh, lily pad wallpaper on the walls.
nice. The iridescent adds so much. If it was just black tile, it'd be like, yeah,
Yeah,
just very one dimensional.
yeah. And I think there might be I don't know if I did the third picture.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
got
you
one.
can see it better there, the iridescence.
Love the mirror with the light around it.
Yeah, that was it just makes it one less thing that you have to do. And sometimes light fixtures, especially on wallpaper, that's one more thing to hinder your view of the wallpaper. So it was nice not to have to add anything. And if you see the little bird standing on one leg, that is just I mean, what better thing than if you're in a pond with lily pads, you would have one of those birds that's standing on one leg in the, I just found that somewhere and it was perfect.
You really tie it all together. It's really cool. Next up we have,
Another one that I don't have a before of her, but this client, she's a big scuba diver. She wished she lived in Florida, but she's here in St. Louis. So we just gave her a little bit of underwater theme in her powder room. Like she's already in the ocean with all those colorful fish in Florida.
hmm,
And the way I tried to repeat that theme is the mirror is made out of like a mother of pearl kind of seashell. The fixtures are all burnished brass, kind of like what you would see on a ship where the brass is not real shiny anymore. The light fixture has that kind of brass on it. And the vessel sink, another vessel sink is faceted glass, which you see a lot when if you're in the ocean. Sometimes the water, when the waves are kind of all coming together, it makes it look like faceted glass.
and the vessel sink is almost like a shell, one side, one half of a shell.
Yeah, correct. Yep.
Hmm, really, really nice. Wow. Just love the vibe, the feel in that room.
Yeah.
Uh, there's a close up there. And again, we have the faucet mounted to the wall,
Mounted
which
the wall.
I
That
never thought
works
of
really
that.
well with vessel sinks. I like
For
that
sure.
look with a vessel sink.
For sure. And it's fun.
Yeah.
It's just a
Yeah.
fun.
One thing you have to remember when you have faucets coming out of the wall is you need to run your countertop material up high enough behind the faucet so you don't have your faucet sitting on wallpaper. So it's hard to see that. It's just a black granite.
Oh, I see
But
it. I
yeah,
totally see it. Yeah. Um, and the other part of it too, you've got water coming out. You don't want to have that water splashing on the wallpaper.
correct. Yep.
So what do we have here?
So this was a brand new house that we helped clients build, and this was their powder room. This lady really liked interesting things, and she had a lot of really cool art. So this piece of art she wanted to use in the bathroom. So we built the bathroom around that piece of art. What looks like wallpaper on the wall is actually the same tile that's on the floor. So we just put the tile on the floor all the way up the wall to the ceiling so that it kind of blended everything together. Simple white vanity. It's a pretty big powder room, so she had plenty of room for storage in there. And then if you notice the light fixtures, the bottom of them kind of angle down into a point. So they repeated the look of the tile behind them. Again, a big, huge round mirror so that it made the room feel bigger.
And it really does. That I would not even. I know you can't see everything in the picture, but that room looks big. I
Yeah.
don't know how big it is. Uh, is this a before or after in this next one?
This is a before, so
Okay.
you can't see everything here, but so this is a tiny powder room. It was at the for use coming in from the backyard. It was close to the back of the house. And right next to the vanity on the right side of the picture is a big, huge closet, which you really don't need in a powder room. So that was taking up a lot of room. And all this is kind of an interesting design, but it was really dated and not in very good shape. So, drum roll, please.
Wow.
So we took out that closet and made a long vanity that looks like it's just a slab of wood with a countertop on it, but it has drawers that you push into them and they pull out, called a touch latch drawers.
Mm.
So very simple, and we didn't want the busyness of hardware on it. A really, really unique vessel sink. So before we go to another picture, there's a couple of things that I want to highlight here. That mirror goes all the way from the ceiling down to the floor. You can see it underneath the vanity. And the wallpaper is this just fabulous wallpaper, which was our starting point for this. And the sink is, I think we have a close-up of the sink.
Take a look.
Oh, that's the before showing the closet.
Got yeah, yeah, yeah.
And that's the before showing the entire Yeah. So that sink is just the coolest sink I've ever seen. One of the other things I did in here is I don't normally do this because it doesn't last really well. We painted the existing shutters to be the same color as the backdrop of the wallpaper. And since it's a powder room and you want those closed, nobody's gonna be in there with the shutters open, so they pretty much just stay the way they are. So I was okay with just painting that because it's not gonna get a lot of use. We had a really cool uh, pendant light that you can't see where the little light is in it, but it's not a lot of light, but you don't need a lot of light in a powder room. You're not shaving or putting on makeup or doing anything that requires a lot of light. So we wanted this to be kind of a moody, really elegant look to the powder room.
So what strikes out for me here in looking at this, that closet, what's the point? If it was a regular bathroom, you would
Right,
need towels and things in there. Don't,
right,
don't
yeah,
really need that. Now you
yeah.
achieve that by having this countertop here.
And not only did it have that closet, but it had a half wall between the door. The closet was on one side, then the door into the room, and then there was a half wall, and then the toilet. So it was really crowded when you first walked into the room. It just made it feel claustrophobic. So we took
Hmm.
out that half wall too.
With the vanity that you have there with the sink on top, it reminds me of a either restaurant bathroom or a hotel because there's nothing underneath it. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
It's
right.
very it's all open, and you find that a lot in those types of places and
Yeah,
in those
yeah.
bathrooms. Yeah, there's another great look at it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's got a whole lot of creative work on the outside of it. So it kind of looks like a shard of pottery, but it's metal.
Yeah. The whole bathroom, rich. That's the word that comes to mind. Very rich.
Yeah,
Oof. All
there we
right, there
go.
we go. Yeah, there's the close up. Wow. Yeah, I couldn't even describe that, but
I know,
it's
it's so
it's
fun.
right, but it so fits. It so fits in the entire design and the tones and the colors and everything. Wow.
Hmm.
So I think that's the last one we have in there, right?
I don't know, is it the
I think
last powder
so.
room?
Yeah,
I
I
think
don't
so,
have.
yeah, yeah.
Ah, really cool. Yeah, it's thanks for sharing that, the before and after. It's a really interesting to see what we go from and the vision going to. This is all based on what these people, homeowners, have said to you what they were looking to get.
On some of them, yes, and other ones I just kind of because I had worked with all of them previously before we did any of these bathrooms. It was not the first thing we did, so I knew them really well.
Hmm.
And eventually, most clients get to the point where they just let me run with it, and I'll bring them a few options, and they just choose what they like. That's what happened with that last powder room. I just, I got to basically do what I wanted in there. And with the lady who likes to scuba dive, that was the only thing I was going to do in there was put those fish on the wall because I knew she would love it.
Mm.
So, and the powder room it's most people don't they can be a little more creative in a like a living room where they can figure out how to dress something up, but people have a real hard time with bathrooms envisioning anything other than the basics. So that's why it's fun to do those.
For sure. And it's such a small room, number one. Number two, you're creating a vibe in a very
Hmm.
small area. So what you do, it's almost like throwing a dart. You have to throw it and hit its target. You don't have a lot of latitude where, oh, well, we do have that pillow on the couch there and that ties it in. And we have this over here. That's a
Yeah,
challenge, I would have to say.
it's tiny, so everything has to work perfectly together. And it's so fun to be creative in there because it's just it doesn't cost as much as doing a big huge bathroom or any other room in the house because even though that one vessel sink that looks like a shard of pottery was very expensive, it's you only need one. You don't need two like in a master bathroom and it's a tiny room. So it's a easy place to go a little overboard and not break the budget.
So I'm getting a memory here. Last house, just want to share. It pays to get quality materials.
It does.
Example. So the last house I uh, bought it in 14, sold it last year. they redid it. There was a small fire, so they were able to, re-rock the place and then change things up. And in the master bathroom, uh, they went with the big box store materials, including the
Mm-hmm.
tile, and it looked really nice. I'm trying to describe what the tile looked like. It was small tiles, but
Mosaics.
yeah, and a little bit of iridescence going and multi-colors, but
Mm-hmm.
within a certain color family. However, in a very short period of time, pieces of the tile would come off, like the upper layer. Think of
Oh,
7 layers of skin. Then the
yeah.
first piece would come off. And then be like, what's that?
Oh
Oh,
my
really?
God.
Yeah. Yeah. So eventually some of them, especially where you usually stand, started wearing away. And also the faucet in the wall. And this could happen in any situation, but I think because it was a cheaper one, I had to replace the cartridge in there, and that it wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
This is just a
Mm-hmm.
few years. I shouldn't
Yes.
have to do
Yes.
that.
Yes.
So just a thought. What's that called in a bathroom, like in a shower, stand-up shower, the inset in the wall? It has a name.
A niche. Niche. Niche
Yeah.
or niche.
Yeah. Are
Yeah.
you a fan of those?
Well, we're going to talk about showers next week.
Okay.
So,
I
but
was
I
in
want
the
to make,
shower. That's why no.
I'm gonna show you some of those next week, or a good idea that's not a niche, not using niche, but using something else.
Ah,
But I want to make one comment of you talked about quality products.
sure.
The other point that you have to do is quality workers, quality
Mhm.
workmanship. You can buy the most expensive tile, and if you cheap out on who's doing the labor, have your contractor doing it, or your brother who's done it before, it's not going to work well. The
Yeah.
quality, especially when you're talking about a wet room and with plumbing fixtures and everything, quality workmanship is critical.
Yeah. And the house before that, I put an extension on and had big Italian tile
Mm-hmm.
and went with a craftsman, an Italian craftsman who put it in.
Mm-hmm.
It was crushing to know what it was going to cost, but I feel I did the right thing because it was done right. It was
Yes.
it was perfect. It really
Yeah.
was. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we forget we got to live with that for quite some
Yeah.
time. So, do it goes back to the classic, do it right the first time.
Yep. That's
And
exactly right.
and that also comes with the design, which is what you do. Tell us how we reach you, Marcia.
MarciaMooreDesign.com. Marcia spelled MarCia, but even if you forget that, you can put in Marcia, MARSHA, MooreDesign.com, and you'll still get to me. So
Yeah. And you're there, even a consult, no charge. If I would assume if somebody just has a question,
yeah, give
you
me
know,
a call.
yeah, love it. Thank
Happy
you
to help.
for everything today. It was fun being in the bathroom with you, and we'll catch up next time. Okay.
Still hanging out in the bath in big bathrooms next week.
Yeah, we're going back. We're
Yeah.
we're gonna take a shower together.
Yeah.
Wait for it. All right. Thanks for being here.
Yeah.
We'll be right back.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
Mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's It's going to be okay.